Well, it's been a little bit since I've had to talk about GMOs or any of that nonsense. But naturalnews.com has a great article. They've been following this Facebook stuff. Remember the whole thing? We're going to now have the likes of Snopes and some specially handpicked groups of people to flag our users' content as, essentially fake news and enable them to put a little thing so that if anyone sees the article or the comment or whatever you linked to or comment you made, there'll be a little thing there that says, this might not be real. I'm not sure what the title is going to be, but this may be fake or whatever, and then link to our story, our research. And that Snopes, the guy who was spending $80,000 or $90,000 on hookers or whatever, his wife filed a lawsuit against him, his ex-wife. That guy who runs Snopes, telling you and everyone else that what you're saying is fake. Yeah, okay. Well, according to Natural News, Facebook rolls out plans to push GMOs by labeling anti-GMO stories as fake news. So now you can't say anything bad about GMOs. If you say something bad, they're going to have some fake news police come out there, the likes of Snopes, to say, no, glyphosate is safe to eat or drink. It's completely safe. And then we're going to reply on that and say, well, what about this video where the spokesman for Monsanto was talking about how glyphosate is fine, and the guy that was interviewing said, well, we have some here. Would you mind drinking some? No, I'm not going to drink that. How come? I'm not stupid. And he gets up and walks out. I'm not stupid, and gets up and walks out. You said it's completely safe. Busted. Anyways, the article or story here says, bound and determined to continue burying real news containing facts that it doesn't like, Facebook has announced a new partnership with ABC News and Snopes to filter out fake news from its coveted newsfeed. These fact checkers, however, have all bought into the biotech industry's bogus science that claims GMOs and glyphosate are completely safe for humans, animals, and the environment. As Business Insider has said, the social media site says it will begin fact-checking, labeling, and then burying so-called fake news and hoaxes after executives say the company was heavily criticized for its role in spreading a deluge of political misinformation during the recent U.S. presidential election. No, that's opposite. A deluge of political, useful, truthful information. That's what got spread. Facebook, in other words, plans to make official the censorship of nonconformist, truth-filled news reporting that it was caught doing in the months before the election. In an interview with Gizmodo, former Facebook news curators revealed that so-called conservative news and reporting was purposely suppressed in favor of far-left sites that were actually reporting fake news. So this says, in an interview with Gizmodo, former Facebook news curators revealed that this was happening. Censorship, now official at Facebook, according to Natural News. Depending on who was on shift, things would be blacklisted or trending. One of the former curators told the site, I believe it had a chilling effect on conservative news. Is what he said. Censorship tends to do that, have a chilling effect on whatever angle of a story is being intentionally suppressed. Now Facebook wants to make it formal policy. And you know what makes me so happy right now? Do you know how, and I'll be honest, I had to recreate my Facebook account for something. It was work related, and some kind of app thing I was dealing with, and it had to have a damn Facebook thing. Oh, let me create my stupid account. And I did not reach out to anybody, all my old friends and family. I don't even use it. It is null and void practically. It just sits there. But in 2010, at the end of 2009, it might have even been, I had enough. Facebook, I'm out of here. And we're in 2016, almost 2017. I am so proud that I was light years ahead of most people on that move. Yours truly, Jason4. Very proud of that one. Thank you. A little pat on the back for myself. Pat on the bald head. Yep, extra good luck. Where was I? According to Business Insider, this is how the new Facebook censorship program will work. The company has teamed up with a short list of media organizations that include ABC News and Snopes, part of an international fact-checking network that is led by Pointer, a nonprofit journalism school in St. Petersburg, Florida. That's right down the street from me. Once third-party fact-checkers have determined that a story is fake, it will be labeled and then buried in the newsfeed. Officials told Business Insider that the social site will also use algorithms to determine whether a story that has been deemed to be phony is going viral. You know, you type the word Pizzagate on anything, gone. We've focused our efforts on the worst of the worst, on the clear hoaxes spread by spammers for their own gain, and on engaging both our community and third-party organizations. Facebook newsfeed chief Adam Mosseri said in a company blog post. But some of your other employees have already said you've been favoring left-wing sites over conservatives. Okay, fine. As a news organization ourselves, we applaud efforts to root out phony news stories and fraudulent reporting. The problem here is that Facebook, led by a lockstep leftist in Mark Zuckerberg, isn't interested in making sure that only genuine news makes it to the valued news feed. He is interested in suppressing divergent opinions and inconvenient facts, especially when they are being reported by news organizations that do not fall in line with the corporate or liberal narratives. We should start calling it fake book, he says. So does this mean that Facebook, or Fakebook, will soon weed out and bury fake, discredited stories from the Washington Post, such as claiming that Russia hacked the U.S. elections in order to sway voters away from Hillary Clinton to support Donald Trump? Or perhaps the New York Times, which has posted that U.S. spy agencies have a consensus about this. That's fake, because the intelligence community has no consensus on this. And in fact, intel chiefs have distanced themselves from a CIA claim that hacking occurred. In fact, an NSA whistleblower says the Russia hacking narrative is bogus because hard evidence points to an inside leak instead. What about the nefarious claim by CNN that the Chinese recently took a U.S. undersea research drone because President-elect Trump took a congratulatory phone call from the president of Taiwan? A claim made with absolutely no evidence whatsoever. Or how about stories that ABC News fakes and Snopes, which has a clear left-wing bias? Or stories promoting GMOs when in fact they are harmful and damaging to our food chain. There definitely is a cottage industry of clickbait phony news on the internet, no question about it. But the so-called mainstream media is most guilty of spreading false stories and political hack attacks disguised as news. And yet those are the sources of news that Facebook will increasingly rely on in the coming months and years. Maybe we should begin calling this social media site Fakebook because its newsfeed will be full of it. In the meantime, TruthWiki lays bare the bias behind fact-checking sites here and here. They post a link. If you want a real social media experience featuring uncensored news and information, join ours by clicking here, which is share.naturalnews.com. So, there you have it. And I think, like everything else is going for the club and the elitists and the leftists, you can try all you might. It won't matter. We will get the news that the people need to see in front of their faces one way or the other. We don't care if something's trending on Facebook or not. We don't care if it's trending on Twitter or anything else. It doesn't matter. The news, but people are hungry for real news. They will find it. Take care.